10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Radio, your trusted source for the paranormal, conspiracy theory, and true crime. Coming to you live from the Mistopheles Studios, it's Dark Fringe Radio.
I try to move, but my body won't work. I try to talk, but I lose all words. All that ever slips from my face are teeth and dreams I can't take. Waking from.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Dark Fringe Radio, your number one spot for the paranormal, true crime, and conspiracy theory. I am your host, Will Martinez, and of course, cannot do this without my co-host, Jay Galosing. Jay, what is going on, brother, man?
What's up, bro? How are things?
Man, things are good. Things are good. Man, we've been on a pretty good roll here as of late, man, just cranking out episode after episode. And,
It's good to be in a nice rotation. It's good to be in a good pattern.
Absolutely. It's just like anything else. Repetition, it helps and it sharpens and it, just gets everything together.
I believe what you're looking for is the saying, repetition is the mother of all success.
There you go.
Someone twice told me that.
There you go. So, yes, a lot of shows coming out. And of course, Jay, if someone was wanting to maybe procure some of this information or maybe some of the other episodes that we offer here at Dark Fringe Radio, where could one find such information, Jay?
Well, unlike some of those who have come on our podcast and told us to look it up for ourselves, I'm going to give you that information, William. You can find it at our website, which is darkfringeradio.com. You can find it on YouTube. You can find it anywhere you get your podcast, which is Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, you name it, we're there. Dark Fringe taking over. NWO, baby.
Absolutely. For life, baby. For life. But that's absolutely right, Jay. Thank you for that. And all be all, just go to darkfringeradio.com. That's where everything's at. That's the place to be. If anything you want Dark Fringe Radio, it's there. So make sure you check it out, darkfringeradio.com. Also on the website, Jay, merch store, I actually got one of the shirts on tonight.
I still don't have one.
I know, I gotta get you one, Jay. Don't worry, I'm gonna get you one. But the Dark Fringe Space Force t-shirt.
I like that.
Yeah, so yeah.
It's out of this world.
It's out of this world. Yeah, no. So we have 12 different designs right now up there. So there's a lot of cool stuff. Check it out. Support the show. That's how you can do it, by going to that merch store for us and picking up a shirt. And of course, repping Dark Fringe Radio. So tonight, Jay, we have a very interesting episode, something a little bit different. We're going to be talking about an individual who's led a pretty incredible life, and a man who's gone through a lot of different things and kind of almost like a Forrest Gump of the real world. But we're going to be talking about Joe Greenstein. And for those that are not familiar with him, you may know him as
the Mighty Atom.
Yes. And so we'll be talking about him tonight here, Jay. But before we get into the main topic, we have a lot of other stuff to take care of first. It's, there's a process to this whole thing, Jay. And so what's next, of course, is Dark Fringe News. And tonight, Jay, we have a couple cool stories I'm going to kind of dissect here with you and get your point of view and see what you think about what we're talking about here tonight. But the first thing is, tonight, we're going to be talking about the 2023 Bilderberg meeting underway in Lisbon. Now, for those who are not familiar with the term Bilderberg, that's synonymous to one of the more wealthier families, almost like you would say Rockefeller, that have supposedly a lot of influence throughout the world. Now, this group of people, the Bilderberg group, they have this meeting every year in Lisbon, and they talk about some very interesting stuff. Let's get into the story here, Jay.
What do they talk about, William?
Let's get into it. This year's annual gathering of global elites, known as the Bilderberg meeting, commenced today in Portugal's capital city of Lisbon. Described by organizers as the forum for informal discussions about major issues.
Informal discussions about major issues. Okay.
That's the quote unquote. And the decades-old event has long been subject of speculation among conspiracy theorists, as each year the invitation-only get-together features an array of prominent figures from worlds of politics, industry, finance, and academia. So although the details surrounding the specific conversations that occur at the gathering are shrouded in secrecy, the group behind the Bilderberg meeting does share a list of attendees as well as an outline of their annual agenda, which provides something of a glimpse in the minds of the proverbial powers that be, as they say, Jay.
Sure it does. Sure it does.
So a little bit into this here, just getting into that first part of the story. Does this sound nefarious to you at all, Jay? I mean, what do you think?
Yeah. No. We're going to be totally transparent about what we're lying. We're going to tell you, we're not going to tell you exactly who.
Right.
We're not going to tell you exactly when, but we'll give you a list of topics in which we're going to talk about. Well, and it's a leisure conversation against, with our current top 1%ers. Yeah, no, it doesn't seem nefarious or, off kilt at all. Doesn't seem like it should be strange or curious or scary or nefarious.
Yeah, nefarious is right. Jay, going back to the article here, according to the press release issued by the event organizers, this year's Bilderberg meeting will feature about 130 participants from 23 different countries.
I gotta be honest. Every time you say Bilderberg, I'm waiting for you to say Build-A-Bear, and I am imagining all these people looking like Gru from Despicable Me at a Build-A-Bear, like, so what are we going to do to take over the world?
Hey, it's not so far off the truth, except for maybe the looks. But yeah,
that's what I imagine.
Yeah, you're right up there, brother. Well, again, like I said, about 130 participants from 23 countries. Many of the attendees are not exactly household names to the general public. They all are considered to be experts in their respective fields or significant political figures from various nations around the world. Among the more noteworthy participants this year of the event are the current U.S. Director of National Intelligence, Avril Haines, former Google CEO Eric Schmidt, the former Georgia gubernatorial candidate Stacey Abrams, and the intriguingly OpenAI CEO Sam Altman. Now, Jay, there was something that you mentioned earlier about a term that you mentioned, and I said, put a little, earmark on that. And
earmark.
Earmark. And so the conclusion of this article, Jay, goes to say, to the end of the primary topic listed on the agenda for this year's Bilderberg meeting is artificial intelligence.
To take over the world.
So we're getting back into AI again, Jay. This is something even the Bilderberg people are talking about. That's how important this is. This is how, how maybe, I would say either nefarious or good or bad or whatever it is, but they're going to try to use it, to their own advantage.
I don't think we can tell you. I don't think we can tell what AI is yet.
Yeah.
But I have recently found myself asking the question of, just because we can, does that mean that we should?
We should. Oh, yeah.
And I'm glad that the Build-A-Bear people are taking it very serious and they're talking about this shit.
The Build-A-Bear people?
It's important. We don't need Build-A-Bears running around with AI inside of them.
No.
Like, could you imagine
No.
that? You know, like this little bear running around with like big butcher knife. Love you.
Oh no, my gosh.
Like that's
Well,
where my mind goes.
I hear you, bro. Well,
Wasn't it just a couple years? Wasn't it just a couple years ago they were saying that like AI will never be used to like run a cyborg or like a cybernetic body, and isn't that what they're already doing?
oh,
They're already there. For
I
there,
mean,
right?
there's
They've
a
got those like
website
AI dogs that they like beat and push down with sticks and shit.
that
That's gonna come back to bite them literally in the ass.
Chat GPT, all these things that are out there right now. I mean, Chat GPT is kind of scary, Jay. We should just do an episode on Chat. Man,
We should. Let's do that. That's
yeah.
earmark that for
that.
Chat GPT. Let's earmark that.
Yeah, there you go, Jay. Yeah, something to talk about in the future. But Jay, the article concludes by saying this would seem to suggest that the emerging technology, which has captured the public's imagination in recent months, has also been considered a concern for the power brokers who have made their way to Lisbon for the weekend. Other areas of exploration planned for the event include China, India, Russia, Ukraine, and Europe, as well as energy transition, fiscal challenges, and transitional threats, whatever the fuck that means. Alas, beyond these largely nondescript topics, the exact nature of the conversations will remain a secret known only to those in attendance. So, Jay, those that what comes out of these discussions will likely wind up shaping our world in ways we may never even realize. So, Jay, the Build-A-Bear meeting, the Build-A-Bear
meeting. The Build-A-Bears.
Oh boy,
yeah, that's your shit, man.
What are you gonna?
No, yeah, it doesn't seem questionable.
What do you do?
What do you do about what?
About these people, the Build-A-Bears.
I don't do shit about the Build-A-Bears.
I mean,
there's nothing I can do about the Build-A-Bears. The Build-A-Bears are so far out of my realm of possibility to interact with. I can't do shit about them. I can't worry about them. Yeah.
No? Is there not like a Care Bear Liberation Front we can go against with them? You know, against the.
I don't think so. I'm stuck firmly with the Thundercats.
Okay, that's where
I like going. Sight beyond sight, right?
yeah, I got you, bro. I got
third eye open.
Well, yeah, Jay. Well, the Bilderberg meeting. Again, people meeting together and having very high level conversations about high level things, but we're not going to tell anybody else what we're talking about. Very weird.
Yeah. We're not going to tell you who says what about anything. Just let you know these are the things we're thinking about.
Yeah, we're talking about it, and it's a concern. Anyways, so all right, well, Jay, that gets us into our next story for tonight for Dark Fringe News. There has been some new footage, Jay, that has emerged of suspected UFO sighting over California military base. I'm not sure if you've seen this or not, Jay, but two UFO experts are reviewing new footage of what they claim as is a mass UFO sighting over a military base. Weaponized podcast hosts Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp, which they're very famous for, of course, bringing out the UFO stories about the Navy and having all those those sightings from the generals and warships and all that stuff, and then of course the Bob Lazar story,
the F-18s.
The F-18s, and of course the Bob Lazar story, which is obviously been talked about immensely on Joe Rogan's podcast. But the Weaponized podcast, Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp, they examined photos and videos on Tuesday on the podcast, which they said they were taken back in April of 2021 over 29 Palms, California. 2 years ago, this thing happened and nothing has come out, Knapp explained. There has been no media coverage in the 2 years since. I got a tip from two bases at the time, Corbell said, about a quick call that he got from a person who was way high up, quote unquote. But the tip was basically like something had happened and you should investigate it, and claiming that the source hung up without any further explanation. So in one clip, Jay, you see a pair pointing out a triangle formation, the lights basically hovering over just, Marine Corps Air, base. And you just see it and it's just sitting there. And you guys can go to darkfringeradio.com and check it out. It'll be on there by the time this episode comes out. And it's pretty weird when you have, people in the military, kind of like tipping off George Knapp and saying, "Hey, listen, you might need to like do this." But then on the other hand, are these people doing that on purpose to maybe throw them off something else? You know what I mean? Is this planned? Is this maybe, or is this really a really insider person? You know what I mean?
Gotta be honest. I
do
think
you
when it
think?
comes to the alien stuff, when it comes to UFO stuff, I think that it's so low on our government's priority list. I don't think they care about it anymore. Because I don't think it's really, again, you're talking about this thing that should be front page fucking news.
You would think.
Nope.
You would think.
You would think.
Yeah.
No. And one could question if it's being swept kind of under the rug on purpose. But then when you really look at the actual things that we got to deal with, you know, the shit that we preen on all the time about energy and food source and land and population and whatever.
Right. The Bilderberg bear people talking stuff.
Right. The Build-A-Bear stuff.
Yeah.
UFOs and aliens are kind of down on the list, man. I
think you're right. And I think that's why we're seeing a lot more of it. Because they're not trying to cover it up anymore. They don't have the time to do all that. They're worried about other stuff now.
Yeah. We got too many things to deal with, and the population is mostly desensitized to this kind of thing. So,
right,
I really do. I think aliens are gonna knock on our front door, and all of us are gonna kind of go, "Oh shit, hey, hi."
Yeah. Well, they of course on the podcast called Weaponized, they examined this footage, and this has never been addressed until now. This has been 2 years, Jay. And Corbell claimed that more than the 10-minute long event was seen by more than 50 people, including Marines on the base itself. He also says that he hopes that the pair is talking about the alleged UFO. The more eyewitnesses will come out, to speak about it. So he's saying that the more they talk about it, he's hoping, that at least get some people to have enough courage and to come out and talk about what they saw. And it's not like that happened, like 15, 20, it was 2 years ago. So still, you know what I mean? It wasn't that long ago. So meanwhile, a Stanford professor, Jay, and ufologist Dr. Gary Nolan boldly claimed last week that he believes 100% that extraterrestrials have not only visited Earth, but they've been here for a long time and may still even be on the planet today. So, Jay, I mean, again, more UFO sightings, go Dark Fringe Space Force. I don't know what else to say. You know what I mean?
Listen, again, it's so far on the list of things that back in 2019, yeah, man, aliens would have been huge to find out that they landed. But once the kind of pandemic hit and now you got all this going on with the wars and Ukraine and everything seems like it's amped up, and just aliens landing just kind of seems like it's like, all right, okay. Are we surprised? I mean, we all started doing the math. We all figured out that we can't be the only thing. We can't be the only thing in the entire universe.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
So and you gotta wonder if what's coming, if these things can travel multiple dimensions.
Right.
What are we gonna do?
What do you do? Yeah, it's a great question, Jay. At the same time, I was thinking something the other day, along the same lines as what we're talking about here tonight. And I was thinking to myself, you know what? There's going to be a generation down the line from us. I don't know if it's going to be the one after our kids, the one after that, or the one after that. But there's going to be a generation of us that we're going to have to know how to fly some type of machinery more so than they would need to know how to drive. I think that will be replaced one day. You don't think so? I really do. I think that.
I don't think so. No, I'll tell you why.
Why?
Because the only way our consciousness really works, the only way our body works, the only way our to have a mass of us flying, there's not enough lines, controls, things to keep us in place and position. The reason why flying is safer than driving is because more people drive. It's a numbers game. More people drive and still can't drive. So I would be highly skeptical now Now, if
But
you
who
said,
knows? 250
if you
years from now.
said, if you said within generations their mode of transportation wasn't driving,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm. Transportation or like
Self-driving cars,
teleportation or yeah. Oh, here we
self-driving
go.
cars turn into self-flying
There you go. Monorails.
whatevers. And you get into your transportation pod or your TP. Yeah,
Jay, you should copyright that.
transportation pods.
Yeah. Like Jay Galusi.
The way of the future.
The way it reminds me of what the remember in Disney? It was like the Tomorrowland, or what was it?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, Tomorrowland.
Tomorrowland, that's right. Yeah, cool. All right. Well, Jay, again, more UFOs, more questions,
cares.
not enough answers. Nobody cares.
Nobody cares. More
Next thing you know-
UFOs. Nobody gives a shit.
Listen, there's going to be 3 green guys that are going to come down in Compton and they're going to be chilling out there, man. Nobody's going to say shit. This is going to be on Instagram. That's what's going to be on. But anyways, well, Jay, that concludes Dark Fringe News. That brings us to our next segment for tonight, which is What the F Florida Man, Jay. And
the Florida Man.
of course, Jay, this is your segment. This is where you find the most craziest story that comes out of this crazy state of Florida. So what do you have for us this week for What the F Florida Man?
Well, my What the F Florida, I actually have 2. I have
Uh-oh.
2 What the F Florida Mans because one led into the
shit.
other. I heard
like
this
that.
crazy story.
All right, let's do it. Story number 1.
Crazy story coming all the way from 2018.
All right.
Okay. Florida man arrested on a DUI charge claimed his dog was driving the car when it crashed into 2 ditches and a house.
Nice.
Bad dog.
Wow. Bad dog. Wow.
Bad dog. The deputies with the Manatee County Sheriff's Office spotted Rutherford Cooper. This guy's name. Rutherford Cooper. Rutherford.
Par for the course.
He was speeding. He ran a stop sign through in his 4-door vehicle as he went through 2 ditches and then into a house. But that's not where it ends.
Oh, no.
Because he then jumped out and ran on foot.
Did
He
he leave the
ended
dog
up
behind?
hiding in the bathroom of a church.
Oh,
He's looking for Jesus.
he's looking for that holy water.
His son, I've got a demonic dog. It wrecked my car. So when they found him, he was spewing spontaneous statements like, "My dog was driving the car, and I ran because I wanted to."
Okay. Well, I mean, at least he told them what exactly happened.
Yeah, it was my dog. My dog wrecked the car, and then I decided to go for a jog.
So let me
That's
ask.
not normal.
That's not normal. Let me ask a question here, Jay. So was there really ever a dog in play in this whole fiasco?
Never found a dog.
Never found a dog. Okay, that was
Never found a dog.
Yeah, so that was all a figment of his imagination, I'm assuming.
Never found a dog. They did, however, test him for alcohol and marijuana.
Okay.
That came back with lots.
Oh,
He
yeah.
said, "I don't have any in my car because it's all in his system."
Right? I mean, he can't call. I mean, he doesn't have possession, really.
Can't say it's on me
That's
when
right.
it's in me.
It's in me, baby. That's right. Wow. So no dog.
That actually brought me to another What the Floor Man.
Okay, so let's hear the second one, part 2.
Okay. Part 2. Right. Now this one comes from 2019, so a year later. Right.
Okay.
So now remember, and dude, get this, the last guy got out of the car and ran, and no, there was never a dog found, right? Port
Mhm.
St. Lucie, Florida.
Oh, not too far from us, Jay.
Not too far from us, a little south of Orlando where that last one was.
Right.
The dog went for a joyride on a Thursday morning, driving his car around a cul-de-sac in circles in reverse for over an hour.
So Sparky got behind the wheel of a car, put that bitch in reverse somehow, and just started doing reverse donuts everywhere for an hour.
So the story goes, owner pulled over his car was looking for directions, pulled over his car, shut the door with the dog in the car. Dog somehow pushed the lever into reverse. Now, how it just drove in a circle in the cul-de-sac and only hitting like a mailbox is impressive.
That is impressive, right?
Did that for an hour.
And didn't hit no fucking
eventually,
house.
the sheriff showed up.
Yeah.
Guy gave them the extra key fob that was dead.
That's weird.
So the sheriff had to get the code, punch it into it was a early 2000s Mercury Sable. So one of the cool ones had the punch pad on the side, right?
Yes.
So police eventually were able to get in, turn the car off, and the dog was totally fine and couldn't have been happier. But they may have never found the dog that was driving the car.
But they found the dog this time, huh?
But maybe they found the dog that was driving the car. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean,
we're worried about AI. It's dogs.
It's
dogs are
right?
going to come back and they're going to be the next dominant species. You mark my word. You earmark that shit.
There you go. Listen, that is something that I've always thought about. Imagine all your animals turning on you one day. Just one day.
Dude, my dog is scary.
Yeah, imagine if like all the animals in the world just all of a sudden turned on their masters. You know what I mean?
Her to death. Scary dog.
Yeah, that's crazy to think about. But anyways, wow, 2 great stories, Jay, for What the F Florida, man. I mean, man, you went from bad to worse. I mean, I don't know what the fuck, man. But
yeah,
Jesus Christ,
bad dog,
real bad dog. I mean, do you take that dog like to the shelter after?
No,
I
couldn't.
You
no,
take care of that dog, Jay.
No, yeah, I keep that dog because I can't blame the fucking dog. I do the same shit.
Yeah.
Oh, you leave me in the car? Are you? Click. Watch this.
Yeah, watch this.
Who's withholding treats now, motherfucker?
Right. I'm gonna burn your gas down, bitch, for an hour.
That's right.
That's right. Holy shit. Oh, that's great, Jay. Well, anyways, Jay, wonderful stories for What the Florida, man. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And so that'll bring us to our main topic for tonight. So before we get into that, we're going to take a quick little break. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And when we come back, we're going to be talking about Joe Greenstein, and of course, known as the Mighty Atom. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
I'm a VIP, and I want to live around people just like myself, rich and divorced.
Shady Acres.
I'm Everett Carrington. Shady Acres is an incredible, upscale, state-of-the-art, top-notch condominium development. A short drive out of town on some pristine wetlands, away from the noise and uninvited diversity of the city.
Shady Acres.
And when you buy into that dream that is Shady Acres, not only do you get a luxurious 5,000 square foot condo with underground parking for your newly acquired sports car, but there's also a jacuzzi for entertaining.
Jacuzzi.
Each condo is tastefully furnished with a stock bar and an exotic waterbed shaped like a dollar sign. Shady Acres also has a golf range, firing range, helipad, and exotic petting zoo when your kids come to visit. You're successful? Start defining your lifestyle. Start defining yourself.
Shady Acres.
Shady Acres. Happiness is worth the price.
Shady Acres.
He was just the boy next door.
Hi, well, hello there, Danny. I didn't know it was hockey season.
Hey, can I borrow a knife?
A deadly curse, a deranged killer, a small town in tears. Knife After Dark, rated R for retarded.
All right, everybody. Thank you and welcome back to Dark Fringe Radio. I am your host, Will Martinez. And tonight we're talking about a very interesting individual, and that is Joe Greenstein. And you guys might know him as the Mighty Atom. And Jay, I found this interesting individual off of Joe Rogan's podcast. I am not going to lie. I will tell you exactly the source of this tonight's episode. He was actually interviewing Boss Rutan. You know Boss Rutan, right? El Guapo.
El Guapo.
El Guapo. And so they were talking about, just crazy things that human feats, things that people are able to do, and they were talking about how there was this guy in Japan who can actually take a samurai sword and somebody shoot like
Cut
a 22 and a pellet, and then he can actually just cut the pellet as it's coming towards him. And just, that's amazing. I mean, who could fucking even do something like that? So, the conversation went on and so on and so forth. And they finally got to, an individual that Boss brought up, and the guy's name was Joe Greenstein, and he was known as the Mighty Atom. And so they started talking about him, and I'm going to talk about him here, Jay, and just give a little bit of an intro about what this guy is and who he was. And so you may not recognize the name Joseph Greenstein, but perhaps you may have heard of the Mighty Atom, Jay. He was the world's strongest man, despite being born 3 months premature and so underweight that the doctors didn't think he would survive his infancy. Born in Poland in 1893, the Mighty Atom was frail and small when he was young, but when he transformed himself physically and mentally to become a famous performer. The Mighty Atom, and he's still small. Yeah. The Mighty Atom came from humble beginnings. He joined a European circus, learned from a mentor how to perform various feats of strength. Over the years, he made news for his incredible stunts, and he used his powers of strength to combat those who opposed him and his beliefs. He is credited with fighting anti-Semites and others who challenged him. He's also helped raise money for the war efforts and taught law enforcement officers how to protect themselves. Like Frank Latini, the three-legged man, and Joseph Merrick, the elephant man, Greenstein used his personal, abilities to his own advantage. So, Jay, tonight, Joe Greenstein, Mr. Mighty Atom. Let's talk about this guy.
This guy had a really interesting life, man.
Right?
So, humble beginnings. Let's start there, right? Yeah. This guy had to walk to school with rags on his feet because he couldn't afford shoes.
Wow.
His father died when he was 5 of tuberculosis.
Mm.
He himself came down with tuberculosis and was told he wouldn't live till he was 18.
Mm.
So, I mean, you talk about squalor, just the most humblest beginnings. You're talking 1800s, early 1900s, Poland.
Right.
You were talking terrible weather. You're talking terrible conditions.
Worse conditions. Yeah, you could be
squalor of
a sick person.
You were talking racism, anti-Semitism being rampant. You were talking just a really hard life. And this young sick boy had just been told that he would not live to see 18. They said he wouldn't live past his 18th birthday.
Mm-hmm.
And as he left the doctor's office, he happened to go by this news cart that had these pictures of strongmen of the day. And he thought, how come those guys can be so big and so strong and I'm stuck like this?
Mm-hmm.
So when the next time the circus had come through town, he decided he was going to go seek out the strongman and ask him these questions that were just on his mind.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't have money, so he can't buy a ticket, so he sneaks in.
Right.
Gets in, gets his ass whooped by one of the child performers.
Mm-hmm.
Beaten nearly to death. Strongman that he was looking for comes across him, hears the story and is so touched and so moved, fires that child performer right there on the spot, gives the young Joseph a job and teaches him how to bodybuild, teaches him some strongman techniques, and taught him. This guy was also a world-class Greco-Roman wrestler.
Yeah. let's not like put that to the side like it's nothing, right? Yes. Well, I know, Jay, this would be, this is something that would definitely tickle your, fancies as far as, right up your alley. And, this guy had such a hard life growing up and then finally gets to this point where he finds something that he loves to do. And he's learning all these, skills from this, Russian strongman. And, where does he go from here, Jay? I mean, this is This is where it starts to
So-
get interesting for him.
So this is where you see that he's not your normal kind of dude.
right.
So he is. I want to say he was 15 or 16 at the time. Decides to run away. So the strongman tells him, "I'll give you a job. You can travel with us, but you have to get your mother's permission." He knew his mother would never sign off on that, so he actually slept that night. He slept under a bread cart that night.
Wow.
To try to hide. Next morning, he goes, tells the strong man, yeah, she said it's cool, I'm good. And without another check, because what are you, like, 1903 or something. There's no text messages, no emails. It's okay. Tell me your mom says okay. That's okay.
Right.
I gotta believe you. So he then travels with the strongman for a year. And one of the first stops they went to India. And he saw an Indian wrestling match. And he talks about this very pivotal moment of his life where he sees this crowd surrounding these two gladiators, if you will, these two men and nothing but pretty much loincloths. And the crowd starts saying, Gamba, Gamba, Gamba. And then next thing you know, the littler of the two combatants picks up the larger one and just tosses him out of the ring like nothing. So turns out the strongman, Greco-Roman wrestler that had taken the mighty Adam under his wing, knew this great Gamba, who is a legend in all the wrestling communities. We're talking, this guy, we're real deal, big time grappling, world class, just nasty when it was as nasty as it could get. So the mighty Adam runs up to him and says, "How did you get this way? How did you toss such a big man?" And the great Gamba said to him, "There's this tree in my backyard, and every morning I go out and I take my belt and I belt myself to this tree, and I try to throw the tree."
I try to throw the tree. All right. Trying to wrap my head around that, but okay. Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right,
try to throw a tree.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw a tree.
I'm gonna throw a tree. What are you gonna do today?
Yeah.
I was thinking I need to get my oil changed. Right.
Yeah.
I gotta wash the dog, and I
thought I gotta go to Jay's house to get that strap so I can strap myself to a tree.
Crazy shit. So, the mighty Adam asked him. He goes, "Well, have you ever thrown the tree?" And he goes, "No, but after you've tried to throw a tree, man, it's not that hard."
I guess he's absolutely right. He's got a point there, right, Jay? I mean,
but right there, this is when Joseph realizes that there's more to this being strong thing than just physical strength.
Right.
So as he continued to travel around with the circus, taking on wrestling matches, apparently anywhere he went with anybody he could find, dominating usually.
He was actually known as Kid Greenstein. That was his name. I mean, that's
right.
He started getting that kind of like, already bravado. Yeah, that moniker. Yeah.
Yep. And it was always shocking because he was so much smaller than everybody else. He worked on his craft on how to be a strong man, traveling all the way to Galveston, Texas. Eventually, he would end up getting married, but there's a huge. Yeah, I skipped a whole lot there.
Oh yeah, no, that's fine. No, you didn't skip a whole lot, but when he got to Galveston, that's one of the most interesting stories I've ever read in my damn entire life.
Go ahead, you share it.
So Jace, perfectly said, Greenstein, went to Galveston, got married, tried to start his life out there. All of a sudden, there was this coworker that started taking a liking to his wife. And the man became incredibly obsessed with her and felt that the only thing that was standing in his way with him and her was, of course, Greenstein. Right? The Matty Adams.
Going to be standing in your way, though.
Right? Because, check this out, Jay. I mean, one day in 1914, wow, we're going way back, right? the man decided to do something about it. Finally, he was like he couldn't take it anymore.
There.
Yeah, he couldn't bear it. He was going to do something about it, and he finally did. So what he did is he went down to the work and shot Greenstein between the eyes with a .38 revolver. Incredibly, the bullet did not go through Greenstein's head. It either was ricocheted or flattened on impact, varying accounts. So that's some people say this, some people say that. But Jay, this guy supposedly gets shot point blank in the head by a .38 and does not pierce his skin.
Now, the rest of that story I found to be more interesting.
Go ahead, take the wheel, Jay, please.
So he ends up going to the hospital. Doctor looks at him and says, "How are you alive? Are you alive?" And he responds with, "I'm talking to you, aren't I?" To where he then shot up off the table, or off the bed rather, buttoned up his shirt and walked home.
He walked it off, bro.
He walked off being shot in the fucking head
by a .38.
A different kind of dude, right?
Wow.
Right? Different kind of dude. Some of the feats of strength he would do, right? Biting nails. Okay. A lot of these strong guy things they do are amazing.
Yes.
Right? I'm not taking anything away from any of those guys. The things they do, the things they pull, the immense things they do. But to bite these nails in half.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He was actually
teeth. I mean, think about
his
it.
Teeth.
Right.
So because it was such a wonder that he could do it, actually, there's always talk of malfeasance around him. Like everybody always said that there was something. It was always a trick. There was always something that somebody always believed it to be fake, which none of it ever was. By the way, which is what's most amazing.
Right.
There's a lot of techniques to those skills and those tricks, but for some of the things he did, there's not.
No, they said that he was able to bite through 12 pennies that were stacked up.
So
I don't care how strong you are, your teeth are gonna get fucking jacked up.
To bits.
Yeah.
To
trying
bits.
to go through 12 fucking pennies?
To bits.
Yeah.
To bits.
Yeah.
I mean, so dentist is checking his mouth out to make sure. He bites the metal tool and snaps it in half.
There you go, Doc.
Think I'm faking, motherfucker?
Yeah, there you go. Here's your medal. You had one, now you have two. There you go. Wow.
Yeah.
So, Jay, it's amazing what this guy was able to do. I mean, just absolutely amazing. And he said that he did all this with his mind, mostly like what you were saying earlier, Jay. It's not like he did it with some type of, I have muscles in my body, I could do it. And no, it wasn't that at all.
So he would travel. He'd end up traveling the world. Before he came to America, he actually traveled to Japan. He went to Japan where he did 2 months of jiu-jitsu, Japanese jiu-jitsu. He would end up learning Greco-Roman catch style wrestling. He would end up, and while my wrestling experience being what my wrestling experience is or was or whatever, I can tell you that after you've gone through just one wrestling practice, nothing else will ever be that hard.
No.
So the more you come back to wrestling practices, the more you go through it just really is a different kind of mindset. And I can see where I know I'm different in ways that I'm just different. Right. And I think that part of that's because I wrestled, and you kind of learn to be different. You learn to push yourself in a way and understand those things. And it's this guy traveling, he got such a widespread knowledge feed of it.
Right.
In so many different ways with strongmen and grapplers and martial arts.
He was like an MMA fighter back then.
He was.
Right. Yeah. Right. I mean, anything short of just, boxing. I mean, he had it all. I mean, he had everything down. Right.
He would do it. And again, to come from poor, sickly, wouldn't survive till you're 18 beginnings to not only being one of the strongest human beings on the earth, period. You don't even say pound for pound. This guy was just as strong as all those monsters that were 3 times his size, because as strong as he was physically, and he did attest to a lot of it being living right, eating right, drinking right, treating your body like a temple. He did lose me when he said no smoking.
Yeah.
Sorry, guy.
Yeah, sorry, guy.
Sorry, homie.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do that one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do that one.
Yeah.
But he also talks about how when he realized that it's fear is what stops you from being able to reach your full potential. That's when he realized that he could do things. He then took a 9-inch, one of those big pipe, the big stakes, like railroad stakes.
Yeah, roller stakes. Yeah.
Just decided he was going to bend it in half. And he said he bent it with ease because he wasn't afraid of getting hurt. He wasn't afraid of how strenuous it was going to be. He kind of knew what to expect. His body, his mind was prepared for it. So it just happened. And at that point, it just happened. At that point is when he realized it's more than just physical. There's something extra here.
Yeah.
And that's when he really decided to go after being the Mighty Atom.
That's the Mighty Atom. Amazing guy. And Jay, I mean, this was not anything short of some other things that he was involved in, especially some of the fisticuffs, as they would say back in the day, that he would get himself involved in some pretty hefty scraps. And one, of course, very famously known, the Mighty Atom was deeply offended by some anti-Semitism one day, Jay. And he was in upstate New York in 1938 when he spotted a sign saying, "No dogs or Jews allowed." Then he ripped it down from the building, of course, and the about 20 Nazi sympathizers went on the attack. The strong man held nothing back and hospitalized 18 of the 20 of the men, Jay. Police arrested him for assault, but when he went to court to defend himself, the judge didn't believe he alone defended himself against such a large gang. The case was dismissed. So the guy gets to the court. This is presented to the judge this way. Judge says, "Bullshit. This is all fake. Get this shit out of my court. I don't even want to see it." He doesn't even get any time. He's good. He's out. Jay, what say you about the 20 Nazi sympathizers?
I say, yeah. I believe it. B, yeah. So, right, here's the catch-22. Here's the secret to being small, friends. In case you guys don't know, the Mighty Atom was 5'4", 130. I am 5'3", 140 as of this morning.
Very comparable.
We're not talking a crazy different size. And I can tell you, when I was going through my divorce back in 20 whatever, going almost 15 years ago now.
Yeah.
Crazy. By the way, I had a lot of anger at that time, and there was a guy, big jack dude, and we were in front of one of those bags, one of those machines that you hit.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm not known for my power. At least not that way. So this guy's like, "I bet I could slap it harder than you." I was like, "With all the roids going through your veins, gotta hope so." So sure enough, he slaps it and he puts up this ridiculous number, and he goes, "That's how a man would do it." So I replied in kind, by pushing him. But I didn't just push him. I lifted him up off the ground, right? Just caught him right, just because I got good leverage. I know what to do.
Right. Yeah.
And he got up, and his friends grabbed him, and my friends grabbed me. The cop comes over and was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa." And the guy's like, "He pushed me." And the guy's like,
"Yeah, right." Are you kidding me?
Really? That little guy?
Yeah.
That little guy? Worry about that little guy? So here's the secret, right? People will start shit with you if you're small, and then you have two choices. You either fend for yourself and you have a Napoleon complex, or you get walked all over and you're a bitch.
Yeah. You don't want that. You don't want the bitch part. Yeah. Yeah, Jay.
I can imagine a little Polish guy being kind of a tough guy. Yeah, I can get it.
Absolutely.
I see
100%. It. And that's it didn't end there, Jay. Of course, he's also known for doing so many different kinds of feats of strength. Biting through nails, like you said, Jay. He actually also held down an airplane with his hair.
So check this, right? We're talking about
Let's hear this. Yeah,
we're talking about this muscle guy, right?
Yeah.
You're talking about this strong man that introduced him to what the world of wrestling and getting strong is all about, and eating right and living right, and take your vitamins and drink your milk and 24-inch pythons.
Mm-hmm.
Something I got lost somewhere.
Say your prayers, yeah, yeah, brother.
So but that guy told him that he was gonna find himself something special. There was something about him that was special, and that he was gonna find his own way.
Mm-hmm.
It's the reason why he didn't travel with the circus. He wanted to continue traveling with the circus after that year, but the strongman wouldn't let him. He said he had a different path and he was going to find his own way. Mm-hmm. And when he realized that the strength came from just as much the mental as it did from the physical, that's when he realized that he had that special art, that talent. Mm-hmm. He had something inside him that was different, that was special. And a lot of it was just as much mental and being in touch with himself spiritually and understanding and not being afraid. And when he decided to do that, he had this image of Samson in his mind.
Right.
And that's where he really got the gimmick of mighty. So he would he never cut his hair again. Let his hair grow long, let his beard grow long, never cut his hair, believing that the longer his hair was, the stronger it was. And hard to argue. I mean, the guy did all those things well into his 80s.
Yeah, that's
never slowing down.
Never slowing down. I mean,
never slowing down.
He was teaching, jiu-jitsu to police officers. He was, raising money to fight Hitler. I mean,
in his 80s.
In his 80s, I mean, this guy just kept going.
He just never stopped.
Never stopped.
So that was when he decided he was going to do those things. He decided he was going to test the strength of his hair. So actually, he decided a way he could bend a bar using nothing but the resistance of his hair.
Oh.
He actually had pictures of other strongmen pulling at his hair to help strengthen the roots. And he stopped an airplane with his hair.
With his hair.
Hair today, gone tomorrow.
That's so crazy when you think about it, because you could see really mentally somebody's hair getting and their scalp getting ripped off, just their head. But no,
how do you mentally again?
I've seen horror movies, that's happened. Yeah, so
no, listen, man. No, I remember. So remember my freshman year wrestling, I had long hair.
Yes, you did.
Just see, friends, I had long, beautiful blonde.
Yeah, like Ric
Flair as could be.
Colored hair. It was
gorgeous.
It was white.
My hair looked like Sebastian Bach. Maybe not quite that great. I might be romanticizing it in my head because this is all I got now. So I had these long hair, and when I started wrestling in high school, if your hair could get pulled, it was allowed. So I had to wrestle with a swim cap on. And if they pulled it off 3 times, it's like some weird cheat code. I was disqualified for having an equipment failure. So anybody I wrestled, I had to beat them within those 3 times, or make sure they couldn't get their hands on
down, left, right on you, huh?
Up, down, left, right. Maybe start. Yeah, and then of course to the little cherry nugget in that story. Our high school colors friends were green and orange, so our wrestling singlets and tights were all green. And my dad, because he was a funny guy, bought a green swim cap to match, and so I looked like the Incredible Hulk's condom. I wrestled 1 season like that, just to be stubborn.
You did.
Just because every day my dad would be like, "Are you ready to cut your hair yet?" And I'd put that thing on, be like, "Nope."
You finally gave in.
Day after wrestling season was over. Day after, I was like, "All right, let's go to the barber and get this thing done."
I remember seeing you after. I was like, "Holy shit, that's
what?" Really, nobody ever thought I was going to cut my hair. I loved my hair.
Yeah, I know.
I loved wrestling.
You did. No, that's why I thought tonight's topic, Jay. I mean, you would love.
It's right up my alley.
Yeah, this guy.
I mean, look, I have watched 4 documentaries on the guy. I've ordered his book off Amazon.
Did you really?
I really did. I want to know more about this guy, and I'm searching more links to follow up on the Great Gamba, and I can't believe I can't remember the name of the strong guy, because that guy also had an incredible story too. So
that guy's name was
just like a V, like Volk.
Yes. His name. Give me 1 second.
1 second.
Volcano.
See, I wasn't too far.
Volcano. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, champion Volcano.
So I want to do some research on that guy and the Great Gamba as well. I'll do some follow up.
Yeah, we'd love to. Yeah, I want to hear more about this stuff, man. This is, I love this. Talking about people like this that live throughout America, and people don't even talk about these people. You know what I mean?
You don't know they're there.
Never knew they existed. You know what I mean? Until somebody says something, and then it gets put on a podcast somewhere, and then it sparks from there. You know what I mean? So it's amazing. That's how it works these days, man. It's just it's amazing. You would never know about people like this ever existed. But yeah, Jay. I mean, what else is there to say about Joe Greenstein, the Mighty Atom? I mean, like you said, he continued this since his late 80s, and just continued to do what he did, and finally cancer got him at the age of 84, and that was it.
I think the thing that's most impressive is how he really kind of like that, just like the Teddy Roosevelt, right?
Right.
He was frail, young, and sickly, and Teddy Roosevelt's dad told him, Teddy, you have the mind, but you do not have the body. Like, I couldn't imagine my father saying that to me. And my father said some awful, awful things to me when I started wrestling to help, encourage me. You just remember, son, you're not going to be the biggest, the strongest, the fastest, the most skilled, the most athletic. You're not going to be that. I get it. And yet, just to hear imagine somebody's dad being like, you got the brains, but you do not have the body for it. You are a weak little bit. Yeah, that hurts me so deeply. So
yeah, to
imagine this guy starting so sickly and really just because he decided in his brain, this is what I'm going to do. And then he stuck with it. And it shows really how far you can go when you're that dedicated to something. I mean, the man was unbelievably dedicated to studying the body and the brain and how the two can interact and how the spirit interacts with that. And how the three of them really, how breathing can affect performance, how muscle sculpting can affect your performance, how you can train your body and your mind to enhance your spirit and vice versa in all different directions. The guy was impressive, and I can't wait to learn more about him.
Yeah, it seems like a guy that was definitely way ahead of his time, and was able to take a lot of that knowledge from, his mentors, and really able to kind of, pave his own path, and was really able to kind of put things together, and, was able to, put things in place, and were able to do the things like he was able to do. It's just amazing. I mean, amazing individual. Yeah, I think that's a great wrap up for tonight, Jay, for the Mighty Atom. So we hope you guys enjoyed that episode of Dark Fringe Radio. Jay, anything else for tonight before we say good night?
I think my closing statements are going to be, we need to give a big Dark Fringe salute to Boss Root for turning us on to that. So we give him the Dark Fringe salute.
Yes, the pat on the back. Yes, absolutely.
Friends, if you have anything, listeners, followers, if you guys have any stories about anybody or anything like this, please send us some information. I would love to do more research. People like this just absolutely fascinate me. So please keep that kind of stuff coming. What a great story. What a great icon of human history, the Mighty Atom.
Yeah, Jay, that's a great wrap up for tonight. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And thank you guys for joining us on another edition of Dark Fringe Radio. I am Bill Martinez, and of course, for my co-host, Jay Colosi, thank you again for joining us, and we'll see you guys again next week.
Dark Fringe Radio, your premier source for the paranormal, conspiracy theory, and true crime.